Hey guys, welcome to Gas Candy. Today we got Dave's Monte in the shop and we're going to be going over part 2 of the AC install. Stick around. Okay, so a brief history on the serpentine drive setup that we put on Dave's Monte. This was a project that we did back in the summer of 23, well, the spring of 23 essentially, before we went to OC for Cruise Week in the springtime. And you know, we lost a lot of the footage, to be quite honest, for months on end. I kind of touched on it a bit on the last video where, you know, life got in the way and then we had the wedding and the funerals and what have you. But we found some of the video, but we were missing a couple parts. So in this video, we're going to try to attempt the old footage with the new footage and go over everything that we did to it, the parts that we ordered, where we got the parts from, and how we made everything work. That was by far one of the most commented videos that we had. So we just figured it was fair to go over everything and kind of tell you guys how we did it. There's a lot of mismatched parts on the car that we made work, and it actually works really well. Like, this is a system that I'm going to be doing on Linda's Camaro at some point this summer. The system just works great. So we're gonna go over it, explain it as best we can, and that'll be our part 2.
All right, so what we're doing here is we're gonna take this top part of this box off. In order to do that, you have to take this gasket seal for the hood off, you have to take the windshield wiper arms and this metal piece up here. And then once you get that stuff off, then you can go around and there's bolts like here, here, here. They go all the way around. And you actually have to pull it off the firewall because it's sealed on the firewall. So what's going on here is my heater core is bad. I want to do AC, and my system's been open for 15 years at this point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this box apart. We're going to put a new evaporator and a new heater core in there, probably a new blower motor because that one's from 1988. And then we're going to put it all back together. So I'm going to time lapse this real quick and take it apart, and I'll let you know if there's anything odd or weird about it as we go. So I figure I'd throw this in there because maybe a lot of people don't know how these come off on these older cars, these G-bodies. So what you have here is you have a little tab right here. You actually have to pull up on the windshield wiper and then pry up on that tab. Then once you do that, that'll release it so that it can come loose. And then you just got to kind of wiggle some screwdrivers under there. Just be real gentle. Again, some of this stuff is plastic and it's real old, so it's easy to break it. So yeah, so just pull up on the windshield wiper, pry up on the tab a little bit, and then kind of work it off of its pedestal. But remember, stay as gentle as possible. All right, let's get back to it. Okay, so we got everything off. Again, gentle, 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 gentle. That is the key to this whole job. So we got it out, but we obviously had a mouse taking up residence in there at some point. So we'll get all that vacuumed and cleaned up. We got the box off, got the heater core out, evaporator out, and so now we're going to work on cleaning it up so we can get ready for some new parts.
Okay, so I'm just going to jump in here real quick and let you know what's going on. This foam came with the heater core. You need to put it around there just to stop the excess air from coming in. And then right here, what I'm doing is I'm actually running butyl tape all the way around all the ceiling areas of the box. Now, this butyl tape came from 3M, and I picked it up at our local Napa.
Okay, so we need to put some weather strip around the AC evaporator, because when it's in the box, if you don't put the things to seal it tight against the weather stripping to hold it tight against the box, it'll actually blow around it, and then it won't cool the air, because it's a lot harder to push the air through the evaporator than it is to just go around the outside. So we want the air to be cold since we're doing all this work. So what we're going to do, like see on the stock one, you have this foam. This is a factory gasket. Like that. So, but my evaporator came with one strip of foam, and then, but I don't think that's going to be enough to do, because you have to do the front here, you have to do down the back sides. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this for the front here, and then whatever it won't do, we'll use a little bit of just regular window sealant from the hardware store. So I'm gonna get to it, and I'll let you know when it gets done, let you look at it.
We got the heater box and everything going. The heat's working great, but when we go to cruise week, it's not going to be hot. So, it's not going to be cold. So we need something that's going to cool the car down on the inside, not heat it up. So the next step would be getting this AC back together. I cut the AC apart when I was 16 because I wanted more power, and now I want to feel comfortable. So we got some lines from Jegs, some fittings from eBay, a tool from Amazon, and we're going to try to put all that together and actually make some AC lines. So yeah, let's see what we can do. So what we got right now is I got the first line, the liquid line. It's an 8 nut with a 6 line, and it's going over to a 6 line, 6 fitting on the condenser over there. So what I did right here is I kind of mocked it up. I marked it with a marker because once you crimp the line to the fitting, it will no longer spin. So you want to make sure that it is where you want it to be, and then mark a line on both of them so that when you undo it and put it out into the crimper, you can line everything up. So I did that. I'll get the line back off now and kind of show you the crimper that we got. Don't know if it's going to work, but hopefully it does. And we'll see if we can make up this first line. All right, so I got it kind of tucked in there, and got my lines lined up. There's also a hole right here in the top of the fitting. That's to allow for you to look and make sure the hose is fully to the top of the fitting. If it's not all the way up there, then the crimp's not going to work. It's not going to seal. So you have to make sure that stays up there, and watch it as you're crimping it to guarantee that you're going to get a good fit and seal to it. So I got it all the way up. I got my lines matched up there, and we're going to start crimping and just see what happens. Okay, let's see what we got. Well, that is not what I was looking for, but hopefully it'll seal. I don't know. What happened? It didn't work the way I was hoping. That's for sure. So, well, if it doesn't work, you'll know it, you'll see it, and we will try again with something else. The other thing you want to do is you want to make sure that the end's nice and square, so it's fully seated up there and it's not just on like one corner or something like that. So let's try another one and see what happens. Okay, so we're going to start this thing out with what's original to the car. So the things that are original to the car are the evaporator that's in the box that you just seen us do, the receiver dryer. This is from like a Rock Auto, you can get it from Napa, wherever, but this is the original stock evaporator dryer, the original pressure switch, and the original condenser. Now the things that we're going to be using off of the Blazer from the Serpentine setup is just the compressor. So the compressor runs the system, but that's the only thing that actually is for a 96 Blazer, anything in that time, you know, in that era. And then the lines are from Summit Racing. So they sell a universal kit that hooks up, and you get, I forget how many feet, but I think it's like 10 feet of each, of 10 line, 8 line, and 6 line. So you're going to need a combination. They do give you quite a bit of fittings with the kit. But there are a few extras that you have to get because there's some oddities. Like this one for sure, I know this is a 12 fitting that goes down to a 10 line. I think there's another one over there and maybe one on the other side of the evaporator. Now, I don't know those offhand right now while we're recording, but I will look them up and I will either have them in the description down below, or I will have them somewhere on the screen while I'm talking about this. So we'll bring the camera in here and give it a little bit better look. So what we're going to do is we're going to start on the suction side here. So this is the receiver dryer. Like I said, this stock to the Monte Carlo. It goes into this fitting here. This is a 10 line.
and it runs from the receiver dryer here over to the suction side of the compressor. Then it'll leave out of the compressor, the pressure side of the compressor. It's going to go through this 8 line. It's going to go over into the condenser over there. That is a different part number that doesn't come with the Summit, but I'll let you know which one that one is. It goes through the condenser and then out a 6 line. Now the 6 line has a 90, and then it comes up and it comes over top of the engine here, over by the wheel well to the evaporator and through the orifice tube. Now the orifice tube that I used on this system was the original one for the Monte Carlo. Now there is better options out there that are a little bit better for 134A, because that's technically the orifice tube for an R12 system, but it works just fine. Let me tell you, the AC blows really cold in this thing. So no need, I think it's fine. The only other piece to this whole system that is unusual, or that's you have to buy, is this little adapter piece. So this takes from 2 normal line sets to the regular 10 line and the 8 line that comes off of there. And then for filling, I just use the 2 ports right here, high and low, and then you can hook your gauge set. Now as far as the heater goes, there are 2 different water returns on the water pump. One we used, and that's a 5/8 line that goes down to the water pump as the return. And the pressure, we actually came off of the intake right by the thermostat. We teed it because I didn't have another place to put the temperature sensor. So we teed it to put the temperature sensor, and then it also presses the coolant up in and then returns back to that water pump. Now on the water pump, we just got a regular heater hose like cap, put that on there and screwed it on. So that pretty much is the whole system for the HVAC, like for hooking the lines up. Now with Monte Carlos, G-bodies, anything of the 80s from General Motors, almost all of the internal pieces are vacuum actuated. So there are 2 vacuum lines. I can't really show you them. One is like a purple and one's like a gray color, and they're vacuum lines. So mine comes straight off manifold vacuum, comes over, and then tees off into the 2 different lines. Now that will allow you to work all your heater controls minus the fan speed, which is controlled on a relay right here with the resistors here for the different speeds. So as long as your wiring's all intact, that all should work. Now if you have any questions, I can try to answer them as far as like the wiring, actual like breakdown for the wiring. But that pretty much wraps up the entire heating and air system on the Monte Carlo and G-bodies in general. All right, guys, while editing this video, I thought I needed to jump in here real quick and just give a little bit more information. One thing being that you need an idle up control for a carbureted application with AC. Now, if you have a stock car with the stock intake and the quadrajet on there, it should already be on there. You may just have to replace it if it's not working, or just make sure that the connector's hooked in. Now, with my application, since we're running an aftermarket Edelbrock intake and a Holley carburetor, I will have to buy a new idle up control. Now, Holley does make one. I'll try to post one right here somewhere, or a picture of one, and then I'll also try to put the link in the description. Now again, I don't have any experience with these because I haven't put one on my car yet. All I did during this last summer was I just idled it up when I was going to be running the AC with the throttle screw, and I was able to keep it running well. And yes, when the compressor wasn't on, it did idle high and it sounded a little weird, but I dealt with it because I got to have AC in my car. So the other thing that I want to mention is there's another YouTuber, and his channel is Penny LS1. He does a really good detailed video on AC install on a similar G-body Monte Carlo. Now he is doing an LS, and he's also using the older R4 compressor. But a lot of the stuff translates. I mean, I watched his video. It helped me a little bit with my install, along with some other people. So I thought that I might want to throw that in there. That it would be a good look to watch his AC video. But other than that, appreciate everybody watching, and let's get to Vince and he can wrap this up for us.
All right, guys, so that's going to do it for our part 2 episode of the AC Serpentine drive install that we did on Dave's Monte Carlo. The video might not be aesthetically pleasing, but it's informational accurate. So now that we got that done, it's time to move on to our newest project, the 57 Bel Air. As you can see in the shop, I am currently drowning in parts. I got all the parts for this thing all at once. That never happens. So instead of looking a gift horse in the mouth, I'm just going to ride it. So make sure you stick around for our next episode while me and Dave will be tempting fate as we cut up this 57 Bel Air and try to make it as structurally sound as it was when it came off the showroom in 1957. As always, guys, thanks for sticking around. Make sure you stay like and subscribe so you stay up to date on all of our future content. Until next time, we'll see you.